Hey homegirls, welcome to my channel. These are all of our supplies that we're going to be using today from the Dollar Tree. We are making topiary Christmas decor. So you're going to take the gold ball and you're going to cut off that little stem that the ornament can hang from and create a hole large enough for a dowel stick that you're also picking up from the Dollar Tree and hot glue it into place. Then move on to the clear ornament by removing the wire that's on the top cap, hot glue it down into place, and then using your scissors you're going to push down into one of the holes, creating a large enough hole for another one of those little sticks, and then you're going to hot glue it into place. Once everything has dried and it's nice and sturdy, you're going to move to the opposite side of the gold ball. Using your scissors, punch a hole and then clip around to make it a little bit bigger for the size that you need for your stick, and then put them together and hot glue them into place. While those continue to dry for a few extra minutes, I'm going to move on to making the actual container that they're going to go down into. It's just some foam that you pick up from the dollar section and a glass container. Then using the garland that they have at the Dollar Tree, you're going to coil and hot glue on this garland that is just $1 for 15 feet, and I used 2 of them, 1 for each ball. And the reason why I did that is because you really want it to be nice and thick and lush and look like it's store-bought. So take your time on this one and just keep coiling it around, putting a bead of hot glue, and then pull it again and keep pulling things back so that way you don't have any issues with it looking flat or funny and not looking store-bought. Once you've got it all coiled on, you're then going to take your scissors and give it a haircut. Beware, this is super messy. You can see it on my face that I think it's super messy just because these things go everywhere, but the look and the result is going to be so beautiful. It's worth it. Once you finish giving it a haircut, you're then going to take some fabric of your choice. I'm using a drop cloth, and then you're just going to glue up the 4 sides first, and then at the corners you're going to pleat it into place and pulling it all nice and tight, gathering it at the neck. And then I took some of this burlap ribbon that they also have at the Dollar Tree in their floral section, and you're just going to tie a little knot and making sure that you move it around to the look that is desirable to you, and then hot glue on some greenery and a poinsettia flower. If you didn't know, I have a playlist of all of my Christmas DIY decor videos. I will link that down below, and at the end of this video, check it out if you are enjoying my content. Today, my partner for my DIY with friends is Domestic Diva 76. Make sure you pop over to her channel and see her 3 DIY projects and what she's up to today, because she is going to be crafting just like me, giving you double the ideas. I will link her down below in the description box. The next project we're going to work on is more supplies from the Dollar Tree, except for these little trees. I picked those up at Amazon and I will link them down below. You're going to take your jar, take the lid off, and then we're going to be using this Merry Christmas ornament. There are 4 in a pack, but we only need 1 for today. You're going to snip off that little twine string that they have on there, and then we're going to start by hot gluing in our trees first. So I had a hard time reaching all the way towards the back, and if you do too, you can take some scissors and then just push it down into place. I decided to put 2 trees towards the back, and then the Merry Christmas sign in the middle, and then 1 tree in the front. Now if you missed it, this is also on that playlist that I'm going to link down below. I made a much smaller version of this, and they're a little bit different as a Christmas ornament, and they are just the cutest ornaments to make to give out to people for gifts, as well as this. This is just such a cute little shake jar, and it keeps kids super entertained because you can put all sorts of little goodies inside of it. Once I've got the Merry Christmas in place and the other two trees in the back, I went ahead and hot glued in my tree in the front. And then this is the really fun and super easy thing to do. You're going to take some snow from the Dollar Tree. This is just shredded little pieces of plastic. And then you're going to take in the foam balls, pour as much in as you desire, and then you're going to hot glue the lid in place. So I put on the cap first, and then I put hot glue on the neck of the jar, and then just screwed it down into place. And this is going to keep it from coming off. If you haven't already, I would love it if you click that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It helps out my channel and it keeps you informed when I upload a new video. The next DIY is a little more labor intensive, but a really fun one to try if you don't already have a little house for your nativity scene. So what I did was I took my tallest ornament, which was my wise man, and I figured out the roof line at the center point and how tall and wide I needed the back baseboard to be. Once I had that all measured out, I took my X-Acto knife and I cut. Now we're going to figure out the sides of the house or the manger, and you're going to take another piece of foam cord and you are going to create your cut lines, and then you are going to cut those as well. And you're going to need two of those, one for each side of the walls. And then once you've got all of your lines in place, again, you're going to just simply cut them. Now we're going to work on the roof. We're going to go to the tip top point and then have a little bit of a hangover, and that's going to let us know how long we need that piece to be. And then we're going to decide also how thick we want it to be. I want it to be as the same thickness but a little bit hangover of my side walls. Then go ahead and cut as well. I'm going to have a printable link down below with all of the size of my manger scene, so that way you guys can cut them and figure out those dimensions that you need without having to have me do them all on here, and maybe you might miss one. So if you want to make this, there will be a printable link down below. Next, what you're going to do is you are going to take the thicker popsicle sticks that you pick up at the Dollar Tree, and you're going to need 2 packs of these. And you're going to cut off the rounded parts. You don't want those parts because we want to create that backwood wall. And then once you've got the top and the bottom cut off, you're just going to hot glue them into place, going all the way across that back wall of your manger house. And once you've got everything all hot glued into place, you're going to work on the top part. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take the popsicle stick, you're going to lay it down, you're going to flip it over, mark it, and then cut it. And you're going to keep doing that so that you get the right measurements going all the way across. I found this part so fun to do. It took me a little bit of time to do it just because you're cutting popsicle sticks and gluing them into place. But total time it took me to go all the way across this whole board was about 20 minutes. And like I said, I just had really fun doing it. I put on some music and I just enjoyed working on this project. It's really fun to have something like this in your home because it's a forever keepsake. And I'm going to show you girls how to build this really sturdy so it lasts forever. Then after you're all done doing the popsicle sticks on one side, you're going to take some drop cloth or whatever fabric you have on hand, and you're going to hot glue on to the back of it. Now I am just hot gluing directly on, and then I flip it over and I'm going to use my scissors to cut off and get that nice clean line without worrying about cutting it wrong or cutting too small or having to create a pattern. It's not necessary. I just use my scissors and cut along just like this. Now we're going to work on figuring out the walls. So we're going to take some more popsicle sticks and we're going to create that cut line again and then just hot glue it into place. And you are going to do that on both sides, on the inner side of the house and the outer side of the house. This is going to create a really store-bought finish, and anybody who sees this is going to assume that you bought it at a store. Once you've got both sides covered, just like this, we're then going to have a nice finished piece. You're going to take the skinnier popsicle stick, You're going to cut the rounded parts off again, and then you're going to hot glue it down. Now because they're not all the way long enough, you're going to need to have an extra piece on there, and you're going to just measure it and cut off the excess that you don't need to give it that nice finished look. And you're only going to do this on one side. You're not doing it on both sides of those, because the other one is going to go into the manger back wall. Now that you've got everything all glued on, you're going to go ahead and add your side wall to the back wall. Make sure you use a lot of hot glue, hold it in place, and give it time to dry. And then use some supportive glue on the inner parts of the wall to make sure that it's on there nice and sturdy. Then you're going to take another thick popsicle stick, and you are going to glue that on the back wall, just like I'm doing here, connecting into the side wall. This is going to be a great support piece for your wall so that there's no issues with it breaking over time. And you're just going to push that down into place and allow it to dry. And again, you're going to notice that it's too short to go all the way across the whole thing, so you're going to have to repeat that step of creating a smaller piece in there. Now for the roof, we're only going to do the inside of the roof and not the outside. And you can see here I put on my popsicle sticks, and then once you've got those all done, remember you're not going to do the top of those. You're going to go ahead and hot glue the roof onto the little house. Make sure you use a lot of hot glue so it really stays in place and you don't have any issues with it over time. And then once you've got it all hot glued on, you're then going to take some more hot glue on the inside, put a long line of hot glue, use an extra popsicle stick, and rub it into place. You want to make sure you do this because it doesn't make it look all clumpy and it looks, again, store-bought. And you're also going to do it on the sides. Basically, anywhere there's a seam, you're going to be doing that. Now take some brown paint and go over the very top of the little roof. You're going to paint a nice thick coat of brown paint on. It doesn't have to be super perfect, and you only really need one coat of this, and this is basically to help hide any white that might pop through when we put the Spanish moss all over the top. So now you're going to use the hot glue, and you are just going to keep pressing down this moss greenery stuff. I forgot what this is called, but again, this comes from the dollar floral section, and you're just going to keep adding it on to your desired look. Now I wanted to have a lot on my roof. I just thought it looked really pretty having a whole bunch on there. So I'm just adding in more and more hot glue and more of this stuff. And luckily when you're pulling it out of the bag, it actually comes in woven strips almost. You just kind of have to pull off the excess that you don't want, or you can even cut it, and then you just keep massaging it down and getting it into place to make sure that it doesn't come up over time. Once you've gotten all the way across the whole rooftop, you're going to go ahead and give it a haircut. This seems to be the haircut video because we also gave our topiaries haircuts, but you're going to go ahead and give the roof line a haircut as well if there's anything hanging over or you didn't want to have it look the way that it looked. I think giving it a haircut versus pulling it is the best method. Then we're going to work on darkening the wood sticks. So I just took some brown paint and some water and watered it down, and I'm just going to go over it a few times to make sure it has a really nice wood look. We want it to kind of look rustic, not too dark, because I feel that that'll take away from the beauty of the figurines that are going to go inside of it. So I went over it twice with my brown paint and water wash to give it that look that I was looking for. Once it's all painted and dried, you're then going to work on the base. And we didn't cut this out earlier because I wanted to be able to make sure I had a right base size that would really make it stand up and look really nice on a table. So once I had my piece cut out for the length and the width that I wanted, I then took some hot glue and some more of my drop cloth and just glued that on. And then I flipped it over and then pulled that fabric over nice and tight and hot glued that into place. Once I did that, I took my scissors and I just cut around the sides, and then to finish off that seam line, I put some hot glue on the foam core and then just pulled it in and patted it all down into place. I wanted the edges to look a little rough, so that worked out perfect when I did it that way. Now what we want to do is take our scissors and create 2 strip holes, because we want the actual foam core to be touching each other when we put the walls down. This is going to make it really stay strong without it breaking and having any issues. Then again, use another one of that long strips of supportive hot glue and just take your hot glue with the popsicle stick and rub it across. And then to finish off the back, do the same thing, add some hot glue and then press it all down into place, allowing everything to dry. Friends, this project cost me $5 to make. I just think everybody should try to make one. They're so fun. I know it's labor intensive, but I just love how it turned out. Leave a comment down below to let me know which one was your favorite, and if you think you would actually ever try making the manger house. I just love the way it looks. I love having a beautiful nativity scene in our home at Christmas season to celebrate the Savior's birth. Thanks so much for being a friend, and until the next episode, bye homegirls!